My parents thought deeply about what to name me when I was born on January of 2000. Sao Yue. That was what they landed on because of the number of strokes in each character. They would later tell me that they chose these complex characters in the hopes I would live a life full of ambition. Contrary to my brother, who they had named with less strokes, they wanted me to live a life less simple and to always strive for more. And so I was born, Sao Yue, a little girl with big dreams and an insatiable pursuit. Whether this was a gift or a curse is still a question for time to answer. And so I went through life, always looking forward to the next step, the next big thing. And before I knew it, I left home, moved to New York, and turned 25. The day my dad drove me to the airport, he said to me, "You're about to start your new life." And to that, I did. I haven't returned back home in over a year. Being from Austin, it's always strange going back home. Austin has rapidly changed. As I sit in the air, flying closer and closer back home, I can't help but wonder, will things still be the same? Will things still feel the same? If I visit the places so dear to my memory from my childhood and teenage years, will they be familiar, or will they seem like strangers, changed by time and distance? My earliest memories are from my first dance studio. My parents started sending me here when I was 2, and for the next 16 years, I would spend hours dancing at a studio every day. I remember being the smallest child and only fully Asian girl in my class. I adopted this high-pitched voice I mimicked from a Taiwanese children's show on Yo-Yo TV. The other girls adored it, so I faked my voice for years just to feel accepted. When we moved in first grade, my parents had me switch studios. I remember feeling so relieved I could start over and didn't have to fake it anymore. This place seems so small now. On Sundays, we would drive half an hour down south so I could go to Chinese school. It was inside a middle school, and when I walked through the halls, I loved to pretend like I was already grown. During breaks, I would run up and down the stairs and sneak into the gym to play with the equipment. One year, my 2 best friends' parents signed them up for the same math class as me. I was so happy for them to join me, although they probably were not. This was my first elementary school, the same one my older brother went to 7 years before me. Although I was only here for a year and a half, I have fond memories of the colorful painted walls, the school song about dolphins, and my first friend, a boy who would come over after school and play pretend with me. The neighborhood park next to my first house. I learned how to ride a bike here. When I was a toddler, our home was robbed, and the robber took all our VHS tapes of me as a baby. My parents probably filmed me playing at this park, but the film is now lost into the world somewhere. My second and last dance studio. It was my second home. Almost every day after school, my mom would pick me up to go straight to the studio, where I would stay until 9 p.m., and then I would go home and do my homework. It's weird. Dance, something that once defined me, is now barely a part of my life and identity. And the calluses I formed on my feet from years of dancing have now faded away. Whenever I wanted to hang out with my best friends, we would go on the trail. I would always get scared when I had to cross the wooden bridge over the water. We loved to go exploring off the beaten path as much as we could in the suburban trail. Once my friend dropped her slider phone into the river. We ran back to her house to put it in rice, and it was saved. I had my first kiss by the duck pond. I told my mom I was going to hang out with my friends to trick her into giving me a ride to my date. But then I also had to actually ask my friends to come meet me there. I I told them to go hang out on their own, but I think they ended up spying on me and watched it happen. I got my driver's license as soon as I could when I turned 16. I loved the new freedom that I had. On clear nights, I drove here, parked the car, listened to music, and looked at the stars. My friend had gotten a job here. He said they paid $11 an hour and had flexible working hours. I applied immediately. My first job consisted of mixing shakes, frying crinkle fries, cheesing patties, and assembling burgers. One day after school, I decided to drive one of my best friends, Ethan, to a favorite spot, Mount Bonnell. We sat on the roof for hours in silence as the sun set and moon shone brightly. That night, he became my boyfriend. The next morning, we woke up early to go to Schlotzsky's and claim a year's worth of free sandwiches. It was a special promo they were running if you bought a box of Cinnabons. We would spend the entire senior year of high school going to Schlotzsky's for a free sandwich every single week. The smell of the dance studio, the thrill of my first kiss, the quiet of stargazing in my car. In Austin, I was innocent. I explored, and I formed my first identity. As I come home, I realize that these places have changed. I have changed. But they still made me who I am today.
I want to go to my home in Austin.
Okay, let's go home.